We noticed that the floor is contoured in one area. We began to rip up the vinyl flooring, and we uncovered what we believe is the original blood stains from the 1987 murders.
You know, her grandma was like, you make sure you lock all the doors. You know, they didn't know. It was scary.
Okay, I do want to point out that we pulled up and this light out in front of this building started flashing sporadically.
He stopped.
So we are here in Belle, Plaine, Iowa at the Plaine murder house, and we are about to go in for our first investigation of the house. And we've got our infrared set up, we've got another infrared, another standalone camera, and we are going to see what happens tonight. No expectations. We are going to try and debunk a few things, and let's see what we can get into. What does that mean?
It looks dorky.
Why?
It just looks embarrassing.
That's a UV cam.
Oh God.
All right.
They're coming
Are you ready?
back.
Here we go. Knock, knock. Ooh, it's actually warmer in here, surprisingly. Okay, so go ahead and close that door. Now, something we need to note is that that door right there rattles a lot.
Yep.
And we think from some of the other groups we've watched, they may have been mistaking the door for a knock inside of the house. So we'll try and take note of the door if and when we hear it. It's weird in here.
Yeah.
Being here at night. This is our first time being here at night. We did take our baseline readings and we were getting quite a bit of EMF in this area. This side especially. So we're not using any REM pods tonight for that reason. But let's go ahead and get the camera set up and then we'll start our investigation. Hello! Man, look, I see that light flickering out that window and I'm getting
creepy.
Tripped out.
Well, and is someone going by again? Because it really feels like it was doing it when it was taking photos of people going by.
No, no one's going by. Okay, so we have all of the phones in airplane mode. The first thing that I want to go ahead and try and debunk is this blood spot.
Listen.
There's that creepy truck that keeps circling.
He's just riding around.
So that's something to keep an eye on.
Wait, listen.
What was that? Did you hear that behind me?
Yeah. Oh, was it the broom sliding on the wall? Right there.
No, it was back here. It sounded like it was this door. Okay. I don't know what that was. Okay. So the first thing I want to look at really quick, Savannah. All right, I'm having a turn off that overhead light on your camera for me.
A second car is now there with the other one that was idling, friend. Okay.
I've got a big dilemma.
What?
This isn't lighting up
No, it's not.
at all.
No.
Do you see this, Becky?
What?
This isn't lighting up at all.
No, it's literally not.
Are you catching that on camera?
Yeah.
So what you should be seeing, if you notice here, saliva, spit, semen, blood, all should light up from this. Which, there's some specks there, right? But this supposed blood decomp spot should be lighting up like a Christmas tree.
And it's not at all.
And it's not. Which leads me to believe that this is probably a stain from either mold or water leakage, or you could even have certain stains from an excessive amount of cigarette smoke. So I think this is debunked. I don't think this is a body decomp spot. I think this is just a stain in the floor. Now let's just do a quick little pass through and see if, anything else. That's another similar stain there. Not lighting up either. You can see a few dots in there. What's that?
Bleach.
Whoa.
What happened?
Just turned off.
There's a backsplash there. That's bleach.
I will say this could be from the cold, because it is very cold. So this is gonna have to be quicker than. So I'm not seeing any. Turn what off?
This bright light.
I'll let you know if I find. There is a lot of weird substance on the wall in here, but nothing that looks like splatter, which this is supposedly over.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty confident in saying, especially after reviewing this with the UV light, that's not body decomp. I think it's just a stain. So for anyone that comes after us here at the Belle Plaine murder house, this is just a stain in the floor. It's not blood. I think that's a pretty fair statement.
Yeah.
Because like I said, this should have lit up. Especially with, the only thing that you could see a certain glow with is right here, where you can tell someone tried to use consumer grade luminol. And we watched part of that video, and you can even see in that video where it doesn't really light up the way it should. So I'm gonna go ahead and say this isn't body decomp.
Also, it is worth mentioning they'd only been there for about 5 days, like estimated 5-ish days. That's going to be a mess, but that's not going to be damage to the floor. Like that liquid was there for probably a month or more. So it's like moisture got trapped in between the
floors,
flooring or something.
Yeah, and something else to note is if you look at the police report, they reported that the stench was so bad that the moment he walked in, his eyes were burning. Which there's certain body decomp photos out there that you can look up where people literally, you can see the outline of someone's body after that process starts, because once those chemical reactions take place, the fats and the oils in your skin, that will stain mixing with everything else.
Yeah.
Like that leaves an imprint, not a blood pool. So I wanted to go ahead and clear that up because I know a lot of people were coming in here saying that that was a blood pool. I don't think so. And based off of what I've seen and just that simple test right there, that should have lit up and it didn't. So we can go ahead and debunk that, but let's go ahead and move on to the next phase in the investigation, which is where we try and set up a few pieces of equipment, run a few tests, and see what we get. Now this is the wall that we were picking up a lot of that bleed over. So I have our EDI here, and I'm gonna actually switch it to where it's picking up EMF, just to confirm that it's cyclical nature in terms of what we're picking up here. So I'm expecting this to go off, but not because it's a ghost. So we'll keep an eye on that. We have our infrared set up here in the corner of the room. And then we're also going to be setting up a camera in the room over here. So we have a full spectrum cam here, which is dying rather quickly, but
It's like hard to focus
I think I saw a drug deal outside.
on anything because of the cars that are sitting over there.
I think they moved, friend.
Here comes a car. You see it?
there's a car coming.
Yeah.
I'm scared.
It's hard to focus on anything.
Yeah, they're now sitting closer.
Yeah, they are sitting closer.
So that's not good.
Yep, coming right down here.
What was
Holy
that?
Fuck. Them flying down here. They're going. It's gonna be creeped out.
So we have been asking a lot of questions in the town. Why are you holding your camera down there?
I was thinking about that.
We've asked a lot of questions. I guarantee you that a lot of people know that we're here,
Yeah.
know what we're doing here. And I'm sure there's probably a few people that aren't particularly fond of what we do. So that is something to keep in mind. Anytime you investigate anywhere, there's always going to be somebody that doesn't really appreciate it. Now, granted, we're coming at it from a respect standpoint, but some people just won't see it that way.
Yeah.
So before we get started, my name's Kalani. I'm here with my wife, Savannah, and Beckie. And we have traveled a long way to speak with anyone that could potentially be here. And we don't want you to feel like you have to communicate with us, but our intent is to give you the opportunity to speak. We can talk about whatever you want to. We have an idea of what happened here, but that's not why we're here. So if there's anybody here that would like to show themselves or make themselves known, please feel free to hit a wall, make a sound, let us know that you're here. Okay, that's not your only opportunity to speak with us tonight, but I just want you to get comfortable with us. We're not going to try and run and scream and turn this into a charade by any means. Our intent is literally just to speak with you. And we don't know who you are yet. We have an idea, but we're not 100% sure.
So where did he see the shadow coming out of this room?
So Nick, the owner, saw the shadow coming out of this room.
Okay.
And I think he was at that part of the room there. But as he described it, that it was darker than a shadow. So from my understanding of what I think it is, black mass, probably peeking out of the door. And this is the room that Donald was found in, Donald Fox Jr. Savannah, will you step over here for me just so that camera back there can see?
All right. So we should set up the music box in front of that room because if
That's
it were
where he was
mass,
seen.
Something that's triggered by something physical.
That's weird.
If we can potentially capture that again, let's set it up here. Oh no. Okay.
Okay, so I don't know if it picked up, but Beckie said, which I think is a great idea, what if we put it actually right into the room?
Well, I want to try and coax it out.
I would put it right, like,
So the problem is, if I put it over there, it's going to be triggered by that wall. So I just figured this would be a good space.
or you could put it actually up on the chair.
Do you hear that?
What is that?
That might have been the end of my music box. Walk in front of it again. I just used this before we got here, and now it's just acting.
Could be the battery
Could
from
be
the cold.
Yeah.
So something I do want to document here is that a lot of this equipment can not act right just due to how cold it really is in the house. There's a lot of electrical components that can malfunction with this level of cold. Now I do want to point out we do have a train coming by. And with this town, we have noticed that the train horn is significantly longer than many of the places we've ever been.
You can still hear it.
It's still blowing the horn. So it just now stopped, but most towns we've been in where there's a train coming by, it's usually one pull or maybe two pulls. But through here, they lay on the horn, partly because they're going way too fast and because they've had so many accidents where people just step in front of the train.
It's probably company known or like industry known. Like, oh, when you're passing through here, just like.
When you're going through Belle Plaine, you better make sure you lay down on that horn.
A squeak. I heard it.
Back there?
I think so.
Was it the music box?
No.
No. Sounded like the bathroom.
I heard it.
Did we just hear you in the bathroom? I do have a camera pointed directly at it. That's the
heard
train.
No,
train
that
wheel.
other sound.
If you'd like for us to come back towards the bathroom, can you make a louder knock? Did you hear that?
I almost thought I heard like a bird sound, to be honest.
Let's walk back here real quick, Savannah. Okay, did we hear somebody back in this bathroom? What was that?
It was right behind Savannah.
That was in that room. Thank you. Does that mean you're willing to communicate with us? We're not trying to scare you. Thank you for doing that. I know we asked for that earlier. Would you like us to come into that room? Let's go ahead and step in there anyway. I'm just going to keep following the sounds as they happen. Okay, so everybody find a spot, stand still, because with how old this house is and just the nature in which it's deteriorating, I don't want to move a bunch because I feel like we could probably vibrate and cause something to happen. Okay, we have stepped into your room. Are we communicating with Donald Fox Jr.? If this is Donald Fox Jr., can you make another loud knock or give us a sign that you're in the room and can hear what I'm saying? That's my stomach. Okay, if this is anyone other than Donald Fox Jr., can you make a noise anywhere in this house? stomach?
That's my stomach.
Okay, so it doesn't seem like they're really communicating to response. So when we ask for something, we're not getting like an answer. But we are hearing things in the house, which for the situation right now with how cold it is and the fact that we've already established there's a ton of EMF being leaked into that side of the house, the fact that we're getting stuff without equipment is a good sign. But I think what we really need to have is some sort of intelligence or response based on what we're asking and not just pops. Because something that you can take note of here is this is a very old house.
It's freezing out.
It's freezing out.
So it could be expansion and contraction.
Yep. And it's just poor build quality at this point anyway.
And there's vinyl flapping on the side of the house. So
So
Maybe an animal.
just because there's sounds happening doesn't necessarily mean that it is a ghost.
Right.
So we have to establish a point of communication where we're asking for specific response and getting
Continually.
specific answer.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move back in here. Okay, so at least we know that's working. Okay, so I'm going to switch this over.
Is that the train still going by?
no.
Okay, let me, I'm going to grab a piece of equipment really quick.
I was thinking one thing we could do to potentially get some people to talk, if anyone's here, is to start talking the same way we've been talking around town. And maybe we can get them to come out the same, it's a small town.
Yeah.
And spirits aren't above listening to gossip.
Gossip?
Yep.
So I'm going to put this device out here, which this device can detect vibration. It has REM pod function, EMF function, as well as temperature function. But I'm only going to be using vibration and temperature just because the other two in this environment are not going to be ideal. Okay, so we've been going around town trying to figure out about you guys. We've asked a lot of people that were here during the time that you were here, if they knew who you were, and you guys are very quiet folks. We haven't been able to find many people that knew you. So, if you'd be willing to talk with us, we'd like to learn more about you and see if maybe we can spread your name around town a little bit more today. But we drove all the way here from Nashville to Belle, Plaine, Iowa. I have never been in a smaller city, I think, than this one right here. So I don't know how you guys did it, but
Here we are.
here we are.
Now I feel like you would rather tell your story than have other people tell it for you.
Did you hear what they said at the office? Someone came out and they told us something. I'll share it with you if you want to listen. Did you hear that, Kalani?
Yeah, they told us some info that you might want to hear.
I don't think everyone in town knows it yet.
No, I don't think it's spread around.
No, so you'd be one of the first people to hear it. There's something buzzing around here. Not much going on, so they have that to talk about. Do you think you want to hear it?
What was that?
There's the truck kind of circling around, so that
No, it was a pop. Could have been the house, but it was a pop. Are you in the kitchen currently? Okay, I'm gonna set up. I have another motion detector here that I'm gonna put in this doorway. Okay. So what I think I actually want to do is we're going to have this conversation, but I'm going to put a recorder in each room and see if anything happens inside of the room while we're out here conversating, because I feel like sometimes that's where we'll pick up things on the recorder when we're just out here talking, rather than just, can you come forward and tell me your name? And which we haven't really done that. And I just from what we've seen from some of the other groups that have come in, that seems to be, they just jump right into, come do this, come do that. Mm-hmm. And I don't want them to feel like we're just asking for them to perform tricks for us. So we're going to set out a few recorders here.
Does it seem like hazy in here?
The air quality is not great, so it probably does feel.
It's like hazy, like it's not clear.
Well, there's moisture in the air.
Yeah.
You know what I noticed? That towel is soaking wet. That's hanging right there. Yeah, it's damp. So there's moisture in the air here in this house.
Okay.
Maybe because the windows were open or something.
So I do want to document what recorders we are going to be using tonight. There's one that's controversial that Beckie doesn't like, but I love. But I'll be using two other standard recorders that don't have any controversy surrounding them. This is the H4N Pro Zoom recorder. This is the Olympus Note Recorder DP201. This one has a lot more. The only issue I have with it is it's so new and it's so sensitive that even just slight movements sound a lot more amplified on this, but it's still a really solid recorder. And then this one is really cool because we can do sensitivity control as well as kind of a noise cancellation. And then the controversial recorder, as I was speaking of, is the DR60. Some people hate it, some people love it. I've had really compelling sentences come through. I don't really look for the one-word responses anymore because there's so much muffling to it that it could very well easily just be some sort of feedback coming through. But if we get a good sentence, it's really hard to argue against it. So we have a recorder in each room. And we are literally just going to talk. Okay, so all three recorders are set. Starting session 1. Okay, I'm going to give you the first 30 seconds. If there's anything that you want to say in any of these recorders, now is your opportunity to speak. We have one in every room for you to interact with. Just go up to that device, speak as loudly and as clearly as you can, and hopefully we can hear you. So you can tell us anything you want, going now. Okay, so we were going around town today, just talking to folks about you and your story. And we've also heard that maybe one of you saw the owner now inside of this room to my left, and you showed yourself to him and it kind of freaked him out. So we're kind of here now to see if you could do that for us again, or if you wanted to just speak to us through one of these. But we just want to talk to you, get to know you a little bit. I also heard that you guys had a Timex watch with a calculator. Train.
But also, I think that truck is out there.
Let's do a quick check. I'm going to wait to ask anything or do anything until this train passes.
Crazy how frequently they come through.
Well, so something to mention here. We are going to do an in-depth history of the town and kind of all the misfortune that has taken place here. But something to mention is you have Jumbo Well, which happens in the late 1800s, which many people called it the eighth wonder of the world. But there was 50,000 gallons of water flowing every minute. And it took them 14 months to stop this flow of water. And this was just one mark of all of the tragedies that took place in Belle Plaine. You then fast forward to the 1920s, they have a fire that wipes out 27 buildings in Main Street. Fast forward from there, you have countless train accidents and derailments and just overall tragedies that have taken place in this town. And then you start looking into the 50s and 60s and suicides, murder-suicides, very violent crimes that have been kind of isolated to a town with very few people in it, right? So something that Beckie has researched a lot and I've been able to research is that this town has had a lot of misfortune, essentially since the moment it was put on the map. Yeah. And the part that we're standing in now used to be, they call it Incubator Street or the Incubator because so many kids were coming out of these houses, but before that point, it was known as the red light district of Belle Plaine. The railroad industry, or the railroad company, put up all of these houses. That's why they all looked the same. And that's why the people that were in them were using them as brothels, doing drugs, alcohol, you name it. These walls have seen a lot of that activity. Now, after speaking with locals in the town, paranormal activity is not isolated to just this house. Mm-hmm. Many people have had experiences in their own home. Even today, we talked to 4 separate individuals, and out of those 4 separate individuals, almost all of them had some sort of paranormal instance that occurred either in their own home or in somebody else's home that they knew. So it's really hard to say that this is the only haunted house, and we don't necessarily know that it's haunted because of this house or if the area surrounding it is so active that you're just getting things passing through. Obviously, this house has tragedy attached to it, which many people instantly go with the idea that once tragedy happens in a space, it then becomes haunted. But I don't think that correlation point is fair to make.
And if there's so many tragedies, how could one singular tragedy up against dozens more pull any more energy than anywhere else? Exactly,
right. You've got the train accidents, which are still happening to this day.
Yeah.
Right. This one happened in the 80s, and then you have an incident in 2016. But I think it's just unfair to say that this tragedy outweighs any other tragedies. If that's the case, then based off of all of the tragedy of this town, everywhere we go should be active.
And we have to consider that we're not taking a look at a haunting that happened with someone living here. It's not like someone had this as their home and they were plagued by paranormal activity. We have an owner who basically on the first day came in and he experienced something. So was that someone passing through? Is it like the train? Like, do people just come and go the same way? Is it passing? And does it go from house to house? Is that what we're seeing? The same entity? Seemed like a lot of similar experiences, just eerie, kind of like uncomfortable entities. Nobody was having like, oh, you know, so-and-so's grandma in the kitchen. They're seeing shadows, things crawling into bed with them. Very, someone even described something as being, you know, a darker entity.
Well, and then even the woman that we spoke to said that her husband was playing with like a Ouija board and thought that conjured up something, and even mentioned the ley lines and the fact that this is sitting on an ancient aquifer. Mm-hmm. I mean, and these are things that in the paranormal we consider to be contributing factors, right? A lot of people see water as a conduit, especially fresh water. And then you're dealing with ley lines that people have all sorts of theories surrounding how ley lines can impact paranormal activity. We've also got high levels of EMF that are literally on the other side of this wall. And I think the low power lines and the proximity of how close they are can impact that as well. So something to mention about the room and the house that we're standing in is these people had a lot of environmental factors working against them outside of anything ever being paranormal. And something that she mentions is that we are not investigating this house on any other claim but one. So we've had other teams that have come in here, but the whole basis of this haunting is based upon this one instance that the owner had. So not saying that his experience wasn't real, and not saying that we should discredit that in any way, but what we are saying is out of all of the townspeople, we didn't find a single person that thought of a haunting here.
Mm-hmm.
And we've talked to a lot of people.
Some people didn't even know about it at all.
Some people didn't even know about what happened here in the 80s. And I think that's an important point to note, is that
This is not like a famous house in the town.
this is not a famous haunting. This is not a famous house. The only reason that we're even bringing attention to it is because the owner reached out to us, told us the story, told us the history, and then we kind of went from there to do our own research. But I want to make the point that the town folks here believe in, a lot of them believe in hauntings.
Yes.
They just didn't believe in, or even know about this haunting.
Yeah, they hadn't heard. If that was you, can you walk back out here? We have a device there that plays some music. If you stand in front of it, it's going to keep playing that song for you.
I felt like a surge almost.
I just thought I felt the floor shake a little.
Right when I mentioned they weren't familiar with this haunting, I felt like a pulse right as that went off. I thought I just heard a step.
So my confusion is that Savannah's shadow? Like, what am I seeing in the corner back there?
Is it me?
Could be the light rotating onto the pillar, casting a shadow.
Oh, okay, the pillar. I wasn't even thinking about that. I was looking at the refrigerator.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I saw that earlier and I got freaked out. Okay, let me
Because
cut.
it literally looks like a person.
Let me cut the EVP session really quick.
Okay.
It's pretty much just us talking.
Walking. It is really weird though that I mentioned that no one was familiar with this haunting,
Yeah.
and that's the first time that it activates.
Yeah.
I think that's something to note.
And it's so accurate too. Like, that is one device that it's like you walk in front of it and it stops. So
Yeah.
like, and that's the only way it's triggered is if someone's standing there.
So even though we have that EMF bleeding from that side, that doesn't use anything to do with EMF
Right.
as detection. But again, as we stated before, it's not when we're asking questions that we get the direct response. Usually it's when we start conversing about something and when they catch interest or want to be a part of the conversation, they make it known. But I do really find it odd that I was talking about how no one in the town thought this place was haunted.
well, that's what I was thinking. Just the same way we went to the bar and the restaurant and we started talking about this, that people started to open up. And maybe the spirits are going to act the same way as the living in this town. I'm so cold.
Okay, so this thing, the temperatures are zapping these pretty quick, but we're gonna play these back one by one. It's gonna take a little bit of time, and I'll probably do a little fast forwarding, but. Excuse me. Pretty compelling what's on there. Okay, and then the controversial recorder, as I was speaking of, is the R60. Some people. I'm gonna fast forward a little bit. Some sort of feedback coming through. All three recorders are set. Starting session 1. Okay, I'm gonna give you the first 30 seconds. If there's anything that you want to say in any of these recorders, now is your opportunity to speak. We have one in every room for you to interact with. Just go up to that device, speak as loudly and as clearly as you can, and hopefully we can hear you. So you can tell us anything you want, going now. Do you hear that?
What?
Okay, so we were going around town today, just talking to folks about you. Okay, so I'm going to review the full session, not here, but I am going to go through each one to see that part where I left it open for them to speak, to see if we get anything. So we'll do the Olympus next. That was me.
That didn't sound like you.
What was that?
I heard that.
I heard something before that went off.
I did too.
Did you like my joke? What was that?
Is it the camera?
No. What was that? That sounded like it was from an iPhone.
Something just cut the recording over here.
You're kidding. Was that sound?
Yeah, that didn't.
Do it again to make sure.
What, the sound?
Yeah. Just make sure.
Well, it's not this one. I think it's this camera over here. I think it's telling me that it's about to die. Yeah, so it didn't cut recording. I was saying it was about to die.
That's what the sound was?
Yeah. So we'll let this run until it dies. Which it only lasted like 13 minutes.
Not even an hour.
Yeah, but that happened in unison with that being triggered.
Which is weird. But I heard a noise before
I did too.
that went off. I couldn't make out what it was, but I heard something.
Maybe like a shuffling kind of?
And I was paying attention to this, so I wasn't really. Okay.
Starting session 1. Okay, I'm going to give you the first 30 seconds. If there's anything that you want to say in any of these recorders, now is your opportunity to speak. We have one in every room for you to interact with. Just go up to that device, speak as loudly and as clearly as you can, and hopefully we can hear you. So you can tell us anything you want going now.
Like a pop right there.
Okay, so we were going around.
Okay. And the final playback is the DR.
I think it's important to tell people that don't know about the differences is the DR60 only picks up
When the mic's being
when the
activated.
mic's being activated, where the other ones record the entire time.
So this one should be a lot shorter duration.
More condensed.
All 3 recorders are set. Starting session 1. Okay, I'm going to give you the first 30 seconds. If there's anything that you want to say in any of these recorders, now is your opportunity to speak. We have one in every room for you to interact with. Just go up to that device, speak as loudly and as clearly as you can, and hopefully we can hear you. So you can tell us anything you want going now. Okay, so we were going around town today.
Okay, I mean, one more time to listen. Maybe something underlying, but nothing clear and nothing loud.
Okay, so we were going around town today.
So even this one didn't really get anything substantial. That's okay. If you don't want to use those devices to communicate, we'll try that again in a little bit. But you seem to be interested in what we're saying, especially when it comes to this place being haunted. which the only one that can tell us if it's haunted is you. We've got other people saying stuff to us, but there's a lot of folks in town, like I said, that just don't think of this place when they think of a haunted house here in Belle Plaine. Now, I don't even know if you know what that means or what your situation looks like. You may be alive in your time and thinking we're the ghosts haunting you.
Did you guys hear that knock?
Might be my belly.
Okay.
I'm making pizza sounds.
We did all have pizza before this.
The axe throwing pizza place.
Fitting.
Let me grab my algorithmic EMF device. So even though it's picking up EMF out here, this one still should give us a better shot.
The static in my hair.
Ready?
Yeah.
Okay, so we've added a new device to the environment for you. It's this little blue device here. The left side is yes, also marked with an A or a green light. The right side is B, marked with a no or also a red light. Now this one is a little bit confusing, but what I will tell you is there is an input and output, and when you change your input, it will change the output. So you might have to get a little bit familiar with it first, but essentially you input energy.
I heard it again.
It's the camera. Camera's dead.
Okay.
So that's what we were hearing. The camera just died. That's great. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually change the angle of this camera to replace. That picked me up.
Yeah. That thing around me the sound liquid.
Reminds me of chorus class in high school. Everyone had to.
Yeah.
Sounds like the boring minuet.
Okay. I just wanted to adjust the angle so we were still capturing that room. Has that flashed yet?
It flashed green.
I feel like we're getting better responses with like regular conversation versus like
Asking them stuff.
Yeah. Well, and I figured that would be. I will say the other
It just lit
investigators we talked to said that they did get the most interaction when they were.
Not paying attention.
Well, not that, but they weren't asking about the specific incidents that took place,
Oh, yeah.
which we haven't really done that. And we're not going to right now. We just, I mean, it was funny because right after I said that stupid joke through the recorder, like, do you want to chomp my chomp or something? It literally pinged. Maybe you want to joke? I heard you like 80s rock music. I mean, you got Van Halen, Def Leppard, AC/DC.
What do you
I think so.
I think so too.
Kiss, Whitesnake, Judas Priest. None. I would play you some music, but I'll get in trouble. They don't like me copywriting. I'm interested to see, though, what we do get with Estus. No, you're not interested to see that? That's my stomach. All right. I just want to see if anybody in here is familiar with what they're saying around town. We heard that if we go to the community center at noon, that's where we can get the scoop. Do you think we should go get the scoop about what's going on around town? Donald? Or Francis? Are you someone that's not even from here? You kind of just rode into town and stayed? It's okay if you did. We're not going to kick you out. Somebody smoked a lot of cigarettes in here. I mean, a lot. I walked in the door and it was a lot harder to breathe. It's so quiet. Is there a better place in this house for us to speak with you? Maybe one of these rooms?
Did you see that?
I just flashed yes again. Okay. So, should I go in this room right here next to me? Is that the room I should go in? Did it flash?
Said no.
Okay, should I go in the room up there? The middle room? I thought I saw something move out of the corner of my eye, but it could have just been reflection.
Someone should turn the heat on in here.
Yeah, it's a good idea. Could you imagine by what you would unleash from the ventilation?
Oh, yeah, that's true.
I didn't even think about it.
So something I wanted to point out is
Hot hands do you have?
Beckie's got about 400 hot hands.
Well, some for my feet, and now I'm just trying to make like a little blanket of hot hands.
Yeah, we need to document that it's probably about 19 degrees.
Yeah, it's cold. You can see your breath in the house.
And
Those are hands.
Yeah.
it's very cold in here, but we thought it was necessary, obviously, for us to come here to try and speak with whatever could be here. Now, I will say the interactions we've had so far with the music box have been interesting. The certain topic of conversation we were talking about when it activated was something to note, but we haven't had much outside of that. We've had a few noises here and there. We didn't really have any EVPs come through during that open session, but when I review those later, we might find something else. But I think, for me at least, I think we should maybe do an Estus session and see if there's anything in this space that is willing to come through, because sometimes I feel like it's easier for spirits to channel through someone than it is for them to speak independently. So let's get set up for that and see what we get. Now, before we move into our Estus session, please go ahead and help out our channel by hitting that like button, commenting, and subscribing if you want more paranormal content just like this. Are you ready to go under?
I'm a little freaked out, honestly.
Why?
Just by like the people driving by and like circling around, it's hard to like.
It's not even the paranormal that freaks me out in this town.
It's the people that are like nosy and they've driven by like a million times, and I'm like,
Yeah.
what are they? What are you?
Well, I
driving
think I
around
saw
for
a drug
this time
deal.
of night?
You talking about the two cars out there?
Yeah, there was a car and then another one pulled up and parked adjacent, and then they sat there for a minute and then they drove away. That's usually.
Well, so I want to take note that I think there is a substance abuse problem which somebody said it's probably not any more than anywhere else, which could be true, but it's pretty bad.
It gives me so much anxiety, I can't do it.
Okay.
So you're technically supposed to, you guys know, cover your eyes for Estus. I get too anxious that I'll be under for like 5 seconds. So I'm just going to close my eyes and like face a wall.
Well, so let's put you over, just maybe step right into that threshold there.
You turn this on.
Yeah.
Your gloves are a little easier.
Hey, Becky,
Yes.
I'm going to give you a pro tip.
What?
If you use spout instead of the headphone jack, it'll be significantly louder.
Oh.
How do I make these? Oh, duh. It's so cold that you're like the wires.
I know. I noticed that the
You know what I'm
wires like
saying?
frozen.
Yeah. Does it matter which side to switch? I don't guess so, right?
Okay. All right. So, for those not familiar with Estus, you want to give them a quick rundown?
So we have a spirit box, which is a rapidly scanning radio. Spirits, the theory is that they can use the white noise to communicate. However, due to a phenomenon known as pareidolia, people who are using the spirit box will occasionally hear what they want to hear. So to eliminate that bias, a person will use noise canceling headphones in order to create a sensory deprivation. So instead of just like listen and respond, which is what you're doing when you're using a spirit box outside of the Estus, the person starts to channel and almost act as a conduit for the spirits to communicate.
Perfect. All right, you are our conduit. So let's see what we get. We've had some pretty good ones with Savannah in the past. So
Is it okay if I put this in my pocket or no?
yeah.
Okay. Oh wait, sorry, I don't have it big enough for my giant head.
Well, I think the beanie's probably adding some.
Probably.
Wouldn't it be scary if there was someone in there?
Okay. So we have my wife under right now. Is there anybody here in this house with us that can come forward and say hello? Maybe tell me what color hat I'm wearing.
Duck door.
Duck door.
Just kidding.
Duck door. I don't know what that means, but thank you for trying to come through for us. We heard that there was someone here that scared the owner of this place by looking out of the door she's standing in. Can you tell me the name of who that was? I heard something.
Office. Responding.
I was thinking about how we went to the office today. And I was going to say, do you know who we talked to today?
Are you talking about us going over to the office, the bar?
I literally heard gunmen.
I heard that. I just heard a knock over there.
Maybe.
Do you want to know what we were talking about at the office?
You made fun.
We were making fun. We're just trying to hear your story and find out a little bit more about you.
Can you tell us what year it is for you? It's like they're thinking about it.
Do you know who we talked to today?
Which, if they're mentioning the office,
Yeah.
there's only one.
I will say, I feel like there's quite a bit of bleed over, like, from the radio.
If this is who I think it is, I sat in your seat without even knowing it.
Yep.
I didn't mean to disrespect you by doing that. I didn't know.
How often would you go there?
The 40s? What happened?
What happened in the 40s?
A lot of things. To be honest, that was the one decade I didn't see
I
anything.
snapped.
I snapped. Who snapped? I thought I just heard Belle
I'm
Plaine.
getting really creeped out. It said on my mother.
What was your mother's name?
I know, this is me talking. I know I'm making myself feel this way, but I feel like something's looking at me.
What was your mother's name?
Truck is coming back.
Yeah, that's a semi. Driving by. What was your mother's name? You said you snapped.
Whatever.
I just saw a light flash over there.
Francis.
Oh my.
Bye.
We actually got the name.
Took too much?
Were you on medication? We know that you had an accident. I couldn't imagine how you felt. Do you want to talk about it? We're not trying to pressure you, but it seems like you're sharing more with us than we're really asking for.
Could you tell us your dad's name?
So
I'm leaving.
Why are you leaving? Is that noise scaring you?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll turn it off. So what that means is that the variable of change I set at 5 degrees, it had dropped or exceeded. So something dropped that within a 5-degree variant, which it hasn't really gotten colder in here.
But
we didn't take a reading, so it could have. But the timing of how this is happening is a bit strange, in the fact that I think the noise may have actually scared whoever we're speaking with. But it did seem like we had somebody for the office talk, and then all of a sudden it shifted.
Yeah.
Which that's something that other groups did report, is that it doesn't seem like they're in the space at the same time.
Yeah.
Are we still speaking to the individual that said their mother's name was Frances?
What was Dad's name? I know everyone around here. I think I'd recognize it if you told me.
They latch onto it.
They latch onto it.
That's terrifying.
What do they latch onto? Do you mean they latch on to the name?
No.
What were you saying? You said you know everybody around here, you recognize it.
Yeah.
Word of mouth.
They're talking about the gossip.
Yeah.
You're saying that that's what they live for, that's what they latch onto is the gossip? Is that why you guys were all so reclusive?
Just seems like everyone already knows everyone and they know everything about everyone that there is to know, so why would they tell someone new? You should know it already if you're from here.
Is that why you guys stayed hidden?
Actually,
I think I remember his name. Could you help me out? What was Dad's name?
there's so many.
So,
Gwyneth.
Gwyneth. So I don't know if you remember seeing a guy come through the door that was supposedly picking up trash, but he thinks he saw you. Can you recall that interaction? Maybe tell me his name?
What's that name? What is the name of that guy, your buddy from work that you got in the accident with? Do you remember his name?
I'm still pondering on the I snapped. And then I took too much. Which that sounds like what I think it sounds like, but... I mean, he suffered a horrible accident at work. And I couldn't imagine having to try and take care of my parents as well as not being able to take care of myself.
Blake.
What about the lake?
They stole it
They stole it?
from...
I mean, this land's stolen. Can you be more specific?
Nope.
Okay, no.
I've given you enough information.
You've had some other people in here that have tried to speak with you. Yep. But it doesn't seem like they've had a lot of luck in really getting specifics from you. You seem to be even reclusive where you are now. But I promise you, we're just here to try and tell your story more specifically, and for anyone that's inquiring about this house, tell them what's residing here rather than guessing what resides here. Can you help us do that? They tried to say that that was blood on the floor there, but we've been able to clear that up. So what else can you help us clear up?
Underground. The city.
Are you talking about the aquifer? The water? Do you draw power from that?
We all do.
Say we all do.
Yep.
Is that how you're able to speak with us clearer now? Is because you're drawing energy from that water source that's under our feet?
We had nice water.
What happened to the water?
Listen.
I just heard something in the kitchen.
Project.
What project? Did it have to do with the railroads
Project.
when they were building them?
Where they were dumping all the
It's
water.
saying project something, but I'm not sure what the second word is.
Was there a specific
Project.
project that ruined the water?
For years, yes.
So the project lasts for years? Is that what you're saying? was that?
My foot.
Okay. Is it because they were depositing toxic materials into the water?
At one point in time,
Is that why you appeared to who you appeared to?
ley lines, too.
Someone in town mentioned that to us, that there's some very unique ley lines that run through here.
Were you with us when we were asking questions earlier?
Come back in September.
What's in September?
The 6th.
The
I'll
si-
be here.
What is your name? Just so we can address you properly. The 6th of September.
Richard.
Richard. Richard, why are you in this house?
Maybe he's calling you a Richard.
Could be. Richard, are there other spirits that can just travel this area without being bound to a specific place, but can move from house to house? Can you tell me how many fingers I'm holding up, Richard? Just to prove that you're able to see us. And if you can't see us, can you tell us that you can only hear us?
I'm getting like a major headache. I think it's just from the headphones though.
Okay, let's switch out really quick with you and Savannah and just see.
What'd you say?
Maybe we should warm up for a second.
These things give me a bad headache.
Her headphones?
Yes, I think it's like, maybe it's because have the beanie on too or something. But I will say that there was like a older man, like a grandpa-esque voice that came through a lot. So like,
Is that
see if
Richard?
Did you
Try
have?
this front room.
See if you get
Yeah.
that too.
Did you have a female at all?
Yeah, I heard, well, not like a clear thing I can make out. There were like female voices, but I think it was like all men. But there was one that was like just like very old sounding.
Okay. Okay, so Becky's gonna go in to this room.
And everyone else is gonna come in here too, right?
No.
So I'm not by myself.
Well, but then you might be able to hear us.
So. My blindfold is literally frozen, and it's cloth. It's not funny.
She looks like a trucker putting on a. Okay.
Pay attention.
All right. We're trying to pay attention. We're doing the best we can. It's very cold in here. So we have someone new that you can speak with now.
The older man that I was hearing that I said sounded like a grandpa, can you tell me what your name is?
Stop it.
I just heard a knock coming out of that middle room.
Cut.
Why do you want us to cut?
And we're not cutting
It's
our.
rapid.
Who is here in the home with us? We just heard a knock coming from the middle room.
Porch.
Is there someone on the porch?
Ignore the truck.
Talking about the truck that's been circling this place?
It's not.
Should we not be concerned with it?
Pointing.
Are people in this town pretty nosy?
You said it.
Okay, then I have a question. If
It's
people-
petty.
It's petty. Yeah. If people are pretty nosy and word spreads pretty fast, how come no one really knows the story behind this house? A few people know, but wouldn't you think it would be more famous?
One, don't. Go back.
Is there anyone from the
You ready?
Fox family that's here in the house with us? Ready
You're
for
warned.
It felt like something just pressed on my hip.
what? It did just say you were
Two.
warned. 1, 2. I thought it said warned, but maybe she said 1.
10. Hurry.
What are you telling us to hurry for? What are these numbers?
2 different people.
What are they saying?
We need that.
I'm calling out to anyone from the Fox family. Donald Jr., or Francis. Can you please state your name so that I can address you appropriately?
Roll out.
You want me to leave?
He was here.
Who was?
Hi.
You talking about Donald Fox Jr.? Is that who we were speaking with earlier?
If you can hear our voices,
That was a long flash, yes.
yeah. If you can hear our voices.
Are you ready for it?
Yep, we're ready for it.
Can you tell me what color my hat is? It's 2 colors.
You know all that?
What 2 colors are on my hat?
We remember.
Wait, it says you know all that because I just went through all
Say
the
it.
family names. Yeah, what happened in this house with the Fox family? We were able
4,
to...
3. Oh. Spirit box fell. That was weird, right? Sorry.
Did you drop it?
Well, it's weird because I guess it somehow like just fell between my legs.
Okay.
Maybe when I was shaking, but then it turned off. So, my bad.
We know the exact story of what happened here. But the biggest question I think a lot of people still have even
Got
to
it.
this day is why. Earlier you told us that you snapped. And you said you took too much. Can you be more specific?
Couch.
Yeah, I'm sure you guys had a couch. The TV set was on. But what was that? Stomach?
Excellent.
Okay.
Down.
So if Donald Fox Jr. is here with us,
Honey.
it's almost like we're getting a residual conversation.
Did you hear a man outside say what?
Huh?
I just heard a man say what?
I didn't hear that.
I heard a man. She said, honey, a man said what?
Did you just hear?
What is that? In there.
I wonder if they think we're the ghosts in their house.
Maybe. Oh, and we're standing by the couch.
Yeah, they heard something by the
By
couch.
the couch.
You mean it?
Do you think that we're spirits in your house? Do you think we're ghosts haunting your house?
Thank you. You left me.
Yeah, they're talking to each other.
Is that Francis? And Donald? Are Francis and Donald speaking with each other right now?
Stabbing.
Stabbing. Are you talking about what happened in this house? More recently?
Stop.
Oh, I just
What
got
are you doing?
an enormous pressure in the side of my temple.
Did you?
Yeah, like something just pushed on my... Who just did that?
You got touched and I got touched.
It was like something that just poked me in the side of the head. So you have the ability to physically touch us. You have to be able to hear what we're saying, right? Do you want me to stop talking?
Why do I feel like every now and then the floor feels like it's vibrating?
Well, it is very unstable, and I weigh quite a bit.
I mean,
So even me shifting weight can cause it to...
maybe it just feels like it's like moving.
We don't have much longer to speak with you tonight. Is there anything else you want to tell us?
Anything?
You traveled?
We came here from Nashville, yeah.
I'm learning.
And she came here all the way from Virginia. We came hours just to speak with you.
Do you want to tell us anything that you maybe don't want
Stop.
us to hear from someone else? Like, do you want to tell us exactly what happened?
Don't do that.
Because we haven't heard, anything from you. We've only heard from other people.
Excuse me.
So I feel like you might want to tell your story.
Will it make you feel better if we promise not to tell anyone in town?
Don't.
We won't.
Team.
No, we're not a team. We're just kind of friends, and this
You
is
know
my
it.
wife. But I want to tell everybody I can
I'm
about
bringing
you.
you here.
Why did you bring me here?
Again.
You're going to bring me here again? Are you the entity that told me to come back on September 6th?
Lower. You'll find me.
Lower. You'll find me. Do the
I'm
spirits...
doing it.
Are the spirits in this town constantly affecting people? Are you drawing energy from the ley lines and the water source underneath this town?
7. Now.
Are you saying there's 7 spirits in here now?
I can't feel my lips.
Is it
Hello?
as cold for you as it is for us?
Time's up.
Is it time for us to go?
Leaving.
Can you tell us goodbye?
Tell them.
Tell us goodbye, please.
The beam.
What?
I just heard another knock in that middle room. Who did we just hear in Donald Fox Jr.'s room?
Who was that?
Seven, 8.
They keep counting. What are you counting for?
I murdered her. Get out.
Okay, let's leave.
Is this Donald Fox confessing to what he
No.
did? Are you telling us what you did, Junior?
Game over.
What was that?
My hand in my pocket.
You sure?
Yeah, I just moved it.
Okay. What was that click? Man, you stop moving. You're getting me on edge over here.
Yeah, you're jumpy. Hey,
Can you tell us why you did it?
I think I'm getting hypothermia in my toes.
Think so?
They're like throbbing. They're hurting so bad.
Well, let's we're gonna take a break. We're gonna get warmed up, and then we're gonna come back in for session 2, either tonight or tomorrow night. But we have to do this in shifts because of how cold it is in here, and the fact that all of our batteries die at an accelerated rate due to the temperature. And that's not including if anything paranormal were to happen to drain those batteries.